So, well, um,
Or a positive time.
yeah, no, I was going to say, um, reflecting that, when Governor Ray announced his letter they had written to President Carter and had offered to double the number of refugees that Iowa would accept. It's a big headline. And people write letters to the governor about things they read in the paper. And the way it works in the governor's office is that letters get distributed out to staff members to prepare an answer that the governor can then send. And so one aide worked on highways or transportation, and another one worked on law enforcement, and each would get letters, and they'd have a certain number of letters. So I got all the ones about refugees, and everybody else had inboxes that were about like this many letters. Mine were like this. And in one pile were the letters from people saying, God bless you, Governor. You make me so proud to be an Iowan. This is the history of our state. We're a welcoming people. We're so blessed by the gifts we have from God. We have so much. Of course, it's appropriate to share. And the other equally big pile were those who from writing saying, why are you doing this? You're bringing people here who are going to take our jobs. We don't need more foreigners coming here. They won't fit in. The people wouldn't so directly write about, I don't like people with different colored skin, but I'm sure there were, some of motivation of some of that. When this would, we had to respond to all these. So there was very intense feelings, and a lot of people didn't like what the governor was doing. I have to say it never impacted him or dissuaded him from what he was doing. But the governor, sometimes somebody would write something like, I know you'll never read this letter, but, and here's what I'm unhappy about. So Governor Ray liked that, so I'd take some of those off, and or ones that say, they're gonna just come and take our jobs away. So I'd give him a few letters. And people would include their phone number. So he'd sit in his office like 8 or 9 o'clock at night, and he'd call them. Hello, this is Governor Ray, and sometimes they'd say, oh, come on, who is this, Is that you, Joe, putting me on? Or but finally, then they'd be surprised, and he would say, well, you wrote to me, and you expressed concern that these refugees were going to take jobs.
I had read about that. He had his aides sit there in the Des Moines paper and circle every job wanted ad and then sent it to them.
You know the story. He'd say, I was one of the ones who had to do that. We're counting and they were little small ads, it was hard to count them. And he would say, there's 1,200 jobs listed in the Des Moines Register. You should go and get one of those before the refugees get here. And they'd so he liked surprising people, and particularly ones who didn't agree with him. He'd like to call them. So that story. It's a true story. I was there with him when he'd make the calls. He was, motivated by his belief. He was raised as a Christian, and even though he didn't integrate religion with his official duties, but his philosophy of what to do and what government should do was that all people were children of God, and he had an obligation to other human beings, no matter how different they might be than him, that if you see people suffering, that the faith he was raised in and believed in meant that you had to and should do something about that.